Good morning. My name is Nikki Shea, and I'm a lifelong DMV resident who now lives in Petworth, Northwest. I've owned multiple Hyundai vehicles, most recently being a 2017 Hyundai Elantra. On June 9th, while I was leaving to bring food for my 7-year-old daughter's end-of-year class party, I discovered my car was stolen while parked in front of my home. A few weeks prior, I had learned of the TikTok trend. Sorry, I'm shaking. Where Hyundai and Kia cars have been stolen with USB cords. I kept making a mental note to bring the car to MPD to get the wheel lock that they have supplied, but could never find the time. After my vehicle was stolen, multiple MPD officers and insurance agencies told me how much of an overwhelming problem this is and has been for the city. It took about 3 weeks for all the dust to settle, which can be a huge financial burden for other families who have experienced what we did in June. This is why I'm so excited I'm able to introduce Mayor Bowser this morning as she introduces such an important initiative for Hyundai owners like me. Mayor Bowser has made it clear she is committed to Safe, Stronger DC. I'm so glad to stand with her in support this morning as she announces her latest public initiative. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Bowser.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you. Give Nikki a big round of applause. She's representing DC residents and DC residents who just want to go about their day and take food to their kids' school, right? And the inconvenience, both with time and the financial inconvenience, is what we hope to curb with all of our efforts. And we, of course, spend a lot of time talking about how all of our efforts are focused on pushing down violent crime, and that continues to be a priority. But property crime, stealing people's property, is also something that we are going to fight to defeat in our city. I'm joined today by members of my public safety team, the Chief of Police, Pamela Smith, the Deputy Mayor for Public Safety and Justice, Lindsay Appiah, and we've also been joined by members of Hyundai Car Corporations, and I probably got the name, the complete name wrong, the Hyundai Motor Company, right? But we know Hyundai, and Hyundai executives have joined us today to talk about an initiative that we are going to that they will roll out here at RFK this week to assist their owners in Washington D.C. So we're at the D.C. Armory RFK complex, and Hyundai will begin setting up that operation. We know in the past year that we have seen a significant rise in motor thefts, and that mirrors a rise across the country. And part of that rise has been related to some very unfortunate social media trends about stealing cars. So many people have been impacted, and having your car stolen is stressful, frustrating, maddening, and costly. So in February, MPD began distributing wheel locks to affected drivers. Those wheel locks are still available at district stations, but now we're also partnering with Hyundai to offer a more permanent solution. So starting this Thursday, July 27th, Hyundai will have a clinic set up in Lot 8 where they will install anti-theft software on affected vehicles. Service technicians will be on site to install and complete the software upgrade, which should take less than an hour. The clinic will be open from Monday, July 31st. Is that right? From July 27th through July 31st. And DC residents can come to Lot 8 from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. to get the software adjustment. So this is just a piece of the puzzle on how we can reverse some of these trends that we've seen over the past few years. Last week, I signed the Prioritizing Public Safety Emergency Amendment, and Chief Smith has spent a lot of time meeting and talking to community members and her team at MPD. We are focused across the government on how we can stop crime and violence and hold people accountable who are not following our laws, in the process make our community safer. So today we're talking about something that's very important, and I hope that all the Hyundai car owners will listen up and get over here to RFK to have this upgrade. I also want to emphasize that we continue to have wheel locks available for all car owners at MPD stations. So with that, I want to turn to Chief Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good morning. I'm Acting Chief Pamela Smith, Acting Chief of Police for the Metropolitan Police Department. I'm proud to be here to announce this partnership with Hyundai to help district residents and to address a public safety concern that we've seen across the country. Last year, the Metropolitan Police Department and other police departments across the nation saw a significant increase in thefts of Kia and Hyundai vehicles because of a social media video that showed how to start them with a USB cable. Here in the district, year to date, we've seen more than 1,400 Hyundai vehicles stolen, and some of those are being used by individuals to commit other crimes. When we started seeing this issue last year, MPD went to work. We partnered with Kia and Hyundai to provide steering wheel locks at all of our district stations to provide our residents with a layer of security while the other car companies worked very feverishly to address some of these issues. While we were handing out wheel locks, one of our lieutenants in the 1st District came up with an idea. What if we partnered with the car company to create a drive-through software upgrade to help our residents? And we did just that. And I'm proud to be standing here today to announce this mobile drive-through clinic in our community. I want to take a moment to thank Lieutenant Megan Mulrooney for this idea. Ideas that come to fruition like this one from people within our department is what makes me proud to lead this great department. Listening to our own people and empowering them to bring ideas and strategies forward is one of the things that I'm focused on as the chief. MPD isn't about a single person. It's a team effort, and the men and women of the Metropolitan Police Department have fantastic ideas on ways that we can help our community and how we can impact crime in real time. With Mayor Bowser's assistance, we were able to bring Lieutenant Mulrooney's idea to reality and offer a service to our community. My ask to the community: if you have a Hyundai vehicle impacted by this issue, please come by RFK Stadium between Thursday and Monday from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Please also check with your family and friends if they have a Hyundai vehicle impacted. Make sure they know about this. If they can't make it, see if you can help them get here for this important software update. You have heard me talk about the importance in the community's assistance in public safety. This is one of these opportunities. With the community's help, we can address public safety issues here in the District of Columbia. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Okay, so with that, we'll take a few questions, and then I think we're going to look at some cars. All right, any questions? Press questions first. Yes, Delia? Yes.
In regards to making your customers whole, for instance, I spoke to a gentleman whose car was just stolen, would love to take advantage of this program, but his car is still in the shop because parts are backed up. So what can you do to make customers whole in regards to getting those parts to shop so they can get their vehicles back and take advantage of a program like this?
I appreciate it.
Let me grab the mic.
So appreciate that question. So I'd say one, for that particular customer with his car in the shop, they should be able to do the software upgrade already at the shop that he's at, as long as he's at a Hyundai dealer. So they have the equipment to do it. And so with service parts and coming in, Ira can get back to you, but I think, we have long been able to work through our supply chain issue, and so I think that should not be an issue going forward. But I'll defer to the press team behind you with get you an exact answer on that.
With the parts as a result of these thefts?
I think just in general, for the last couple of years, there's been supply chain problems across the board, so this was sort of no different in that case.
Okay. Any other questions? Sam?
Sort of off topic. It's the issue of valet places. I guess in some cases they've had boxes stolen and attempts to steal cars, and in some cases stealing cars. Also, you've had car thefts downtown where I think somebody got their Rolex watches stolen, etc. First off, how big a problem is this as far as you know? And any suggestions you're making to these folks that have car, that valet services connected to restaurants?
Sure. I'm going to ask the chief to talk to you about that.
So thank you for that question, Sam. So we have been meeting with our community engagement officers, have been going out to the businesses and with where our valets are located to ensure that they look for a different place or measure in order to put those keys so they're not readily accessible to someone to actually walk up and grab it and then take it. We did have some concerns about that over the weekend, and we have immediately sent our officers out there and detectives to address that issue.
Possibility or likelihood that you'll have more officers downtown? Again, we heard about somebody that they're leaving someplace of, I guess they come into the city for a weekend or for entertainment or dinner, and they're leaving and they get their stuff stolen from them, watches, etc.
So what I can say to you is that this weekend we had an increase in personnel across all of our districts to include the U Street corridor. And so we are working very tirelessly to ensure we have the appropriate personnel in those spaces and places where we've seen an uptick in crime.
To you, Mayor, are you concerned about this? Because obviously you're pushing to have more people come downtown and to enjoy downtown D.C. When you hear about stuff like this.
Well, we're here because we're concerned about all kinds of crime. And as I started, I said we spend a lot of time, and especially in these settings, talk about what we're doing about violence. But property crime is a crime that has MPD's attention as well. And so all the ways that we can prevent crime by letting would-be criminals know that these cars aren't going to be readily stolen, that's what we're doing today. What we can do prevention-wise with working with our businesses is also important. MPD has long had a practice of advising businesses or developments on kind of the, what do we call the environmental kind of aspects, changing the environment to prevent crime. Crime prevention through environmental design. Okay, so if you make it less easy to steal your keys, then we probably will have fewer keys stolen. That's not to say we don't want to live in a place where you can leave your valuables out and expect that nobody will steal them. But like this is not Mayberry, and there's really no Mayberries anymore. So what we want people to do is help us protect their property as well. Like I kind of joke with myself that I have to always remember that I don't have any valuables in my own vehicle, or that I'm making sure I lock it, or that I have an alarm on my car and I set it, and I have an alarm on my house and I remember what the code is, and I'm not leaving valuables in my vehicle. All of those things are key. So I think what you just heard the chief talk about is we don't want lawlessness in any way to prevail in our city. We're going to work with our businesses as best we can to harden them, to make sure that they're not targets. But if someone is committing a brazen crime like that, you should be able to feel comfortable at your business, like we've always done, to have valet service. We're going to work with those individual businesses, but also find out who did it. I drive sometimes. I have a car. I drive. On occasion. Don't tell them. Now you're trying to get me in trouble, Sam, with the new chief. Yes.
I have a question to follow up on the valet for the chief.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Chief.
Hello, sir.
One of those thefts of the valet at the valet stands this weekend, they took all of the keys from the valet stand and then almost managed to take a car from where it was parked. Do you think they're casing out where the cars are where the valets are parking the cars? Is that just something added to
Well, I
all this-
can't say affirmatively whether they are or not. I think the best effort that we can make as the Metropolitan Police Department is to really get with our businesses to ensure that those keys are not left in places that are accessible for the thieves to take them. And we will continue to do that and enhance our presence in that space as well. Yes, sir.
Question for the chief, following up on the stolen vehicles. I know you had mentioned that some are being used to commit other crimes.
Yes, ma'am.
I know some folks who've actually recovered their cars weeks later, untouched except for the ignition. So, are there any numbers, any indication as to what these folks are using the vehicles for? Is it a joyride or to commit crimes? And do we have numbers regarding both?
So I thank you for the question. I think what is happening is, again, we have to really deal with our juveniles. I mean, a lot of the car thefts that we're seeing is specifically related to juveniles, our carjackings, and we have had a significant number of arrests associated with some of those carjackings, and we'll talk a little bit about that at another date and time. But I think that what we need to do is to continue to emphasize to folks to come here today. Those folks who have Hyundais, come here today, be a part of this program so that they can get the update for their software. If you are concerned about your vehicles, please, please, please stop by our districts. We do have the wheel locks that are available for members of our communities to place on their cars in order to keep them safe.
Okay, I think that one is stuck, actually. Okay. All right. One thing I will mention before we close, and we will have some updates on all of our social media channels, is that we are actually expecting very extreme heat later this week. And so I just want to make sure that everybody is starting to prepare to receive information from us this week in case we have to make any operational changes. Thank you.